So we got baby, but hey, Bridget,
Hey.
you see Sasha's puppy?
Oh my gosh. Oh, puppy.
Okay, so we got our lazy floppy. Sasha, last week, this class, we do mostly stretching, but then I try to work in a little strength. And last week, Heather gave me a bunch of crap because she said we did too much strength stuff. So I've slowed it way down. We're just going to be lazy. That's a good thing on Monday, right? Sonia just drove back from Seattle. Okay, so then you can also do this little rock and roll move. Let's do our knee sway. And so this is less of a big rocky move. It's more like I'm just tilting my knees left and right. So my shoulders are going to pretty much stay on the ground for this variation. And there's lots of ways you can do a knee sway. One is to have your feet about hip distance apart and just let your knees and pelvis rock side to side. And then you could also do it with your feet totally together, and you could do a smaller range of motion. So that's another variation where I'm using a little more inner thigh. I'm not quite getting as much of a twist. So you can just experiment with this and see which one feels better. And then you could go like as wide as the edge of your mat even, and let one leg drop towards the middle of the mat, and then you're getting this big old lengthy stretchy down the front of your hip. So one of those is going to feel like a nice variation for tonight, whatever feels good for you. Letting your knees rock. You might even let your head rock left and right. I'm going to come back to my hip distance. I feel like I get a little more twisty when I have feet a little closer in. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so I was at my massage client's house. I go see this lady every other week, and she got a new kitty. And so I was sitting on the chair at the end of the session, and the cat had been kind of wandering around the room, and then it just went boink and jumped right up onto my lap. I was like, oh, I guess we're friends. I guess she likes me. She was very soft and fluffy. Okay, now remember that twisty bridge thing that we did last time? Take a little rest here and watch if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. You could do just straight up bridge, and this could be real easy, does it? Just barely hovering your tushy off the ground. So if that feels like the most suitable bridge variation for tonight, you could do about 5 or 10 of those hovering your tushy. Come on down. If you want to add that twist like we were working on, it's kind of like your knee sway you were just doing. I'm going to push into my right heel, and then I might be able to reach my right arm up and over. And so my right hip is a little higher off the ground. Yeah, and then I can do bridge up, easy does it. Push into my left heel, reach my left arm. If that bridging off doesn't feel good, just do the arm reach. You could lean over and reach like you're trying to pull something off the top shelf. So you decide how big of a move this is tonight. Lean and reach. Like you're pulling something off the top shelf, yeah. And leany and reachy. One more of these guys until you've done an even number. Left and right. Okay, and then let's come on to our tummies, please. We'll do our baby cobra. So this is one of your February 5. Easy does it. Roll your little marble with your nose. Lift your chest. You might even pause here. Roll your shoulders up and down and back. And then try to get longer as you come down. Easy cobra. And you could play with your hand position here. You could have hands a little wider. You could have hands in close. Okay, so did everybody watch Snoop Dogg yesterday?
Yes.
I was reading something online, and this guy was like, yeah, I was thinking, I'm glad they don't have some old band like the Rolling Stones. And then he realized, like, oh, I am old. These people are old. They're all in their 50s. I am now old. This music was popular 20, 30 years ago. What'd you think, Bridget?
I I thought it's great. It's all relevant still, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really a rap. I was laughing because I was thinking to myself, if I ever met any of these people, I'd be like, your music, I don't know it, but good for you.
Okay, let's do this little belly roll. If this feels good, to bend your knees and just gently, real gently, rock your back or rock your pelvis, I should say. Yeah. So it's like if your feet were a little tail, a little scorpion tail, and you just easy letting your pelvis rock left and right. And just notice how that feels. If this feels like a good thing, you could start to rock and push a little bit with one hand and let one leg down. This is my little scorpion tail coming back. If that doesn't feel good on your back, just stick to that little baby version. That I could roly-poly rock, push. Yeah, and you can play with where the other arm is. You could have it down by your shoulder. Eventually, what I'd like to do, what do we have, 2 more Mondays, is be able to work up into this kind of move where you push and sit up in the seated position. If that feels comfortable today, just experimenting with how to roll up to seated. If that doesn't feel good to do that much of a roll, or that doesn't feel good on your knees, just ignore my suggestion. So we can play with all different kind of ways to roll and see how slinky that can be as you slink up and slink down. I'm just going to do one more of these. And then what? Then we got our cat and cat. All right, so if this feels comfy, hands and knees. If not, you could always do this standing. You could do hang on to the backs of your legs, or you can put your hands on the wall or the couch. Angry cat, pushing the ground away, round your upper back. And then inhale. Roll your shoulders up and down and back, and big stretch for the whole front side of your body. Angry cat. Inhale, stretch. Lengthen from your sternum to your pubic bone. Big stretch. You can even squeeze your shoulder blades together. And cat. And then if you have a roller and you want to get on it, you can lay lengthwise on your roller for your arm circles tonight, if that feels like a good way to do it. And if you don't, you can just lay on the floor too. Actually, we're going to do rollover and then that weighted pullover. So if you're up getting your roller, you can get a weight if you're using it. I'm not trying to make us do a bunch of strength work. Don't freak out, Heather, when you watch this later. This is still just stretchy mobility. Okay, come on down. Oh, now this could be just a nice thing to do, either laying flat on the ground. Yeah, or laying on your roller if you got it handy. Take a big deep breath. Relax your back. Relax your eyeballs. Maybe open your mouth slightly. You can even yawn if you want. Relax your chest. Relax your pelvis. And then real easy does it arm circles. So these could be tiny way up here where you're floating your wrists and elbows. They could be medium circles. They could be way up back by your ears and way down, maybe even touching the ground circles. So whatever feels good for tonight. Circly, circly. Then I'm going to reverse my circles so that could be tiny, like the size of a dinner plate, could be way down and around and up. Take another big deep breath. And then if you want to stay on your roller for this pullover option to use your weight, if that's too much to do on the roller, to think about like balancing on the roller, you could just lay flat for this one as well. And so some of my people prefer grabbing the wide side of the weight. I like to grab it right in the middle. And then as I have straight arms, as I reach my straight arms back, I feel that length all the way down the side of my waist. So only do this if this feels good on your shoulder. If you've had a shoulder injury or your shoulder just feels tight today, don't go as far back. You're just going for that range where it feels like, "Ooh, that feels a nice stretch." Easy does it. Take another big deep breath. Feel my armpits stretching. A few more of these guys. So you can always ditch the weight and just reach your arms overhead. You could take your arms wide, like in a big V, if that feels better. Do 2 more of these guys. And then just notice after this last one, did you get any closer to the ground with your hands or your weights as you did a bunch of these? Maybe, hopefully. Ooh. Okay, now we got to do what? Oh yeah, our thoracic rotation. Actually, you could use the roller to help you on this one too, if you like. There's a couple ways to do that. One would be to rest your legs on the roller. So this will give you, or squeeze it between your legs. This will give you nice stability so you can focus just on your upper back and shoulder twist. The other way is to put the roller under your arm and reach forward and back. Yeah, that gives you a nice little rolly action. So I'm reaching my arm, sliding it either on the floor or on the roller and letting my shoulder roll forward. And then the back part of this, if you want to roll back, is elbow coming back. Maybe, oh yeah, my neck is cracking and popping. Maybe your whole arm goes back. So you could do these in parts. You could do the front part and the back part, or you could reach all the way forward and all the way back. And then if one of those spots feels like a good hangout, either here with this forward reach or coming back, you could always hang out and breathe. Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay here for just a couple breaths. Relax your jaw. Relax your face. And then when you're ready, you can switch and do side number 2. So again, if I had my roller like so, or a pillow or a yoga block, that would give me a little more stability, since it's really like shoulders and upper back that I'm trying to move on this. Oh yeah, now my back is cracking on this side. So I can go reach forward, reach back, roll onto your head. If you're using the roller as a little roly-poly thing, you can do reach forward a few times and then roll back a few times. Maybe it's just your elbow, it's your whole arm. And then if one of these feels like a good hangout spot, you can hang out for a few breaths. Okay, now what do we got to do? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so I did want to do a little low lunge. Oh, and I wanted to do a little bit of band stuff. We're not going to get crazy. We're just going to do our King Arthur. So I'll show from the front and from the side, your low lunge where you got hips level, if you can get them totally level. So I'm not hiking or twisting. And then same knee as your down knee. This might feel good to bring that arm up and maybe up into a little side bend and or a back bend. So here's what it looks like from the side. Hips level, neutral, pelvis 90-degree bend in the leg. Yeah. And you can always come to the wall for any of these that require a little bit of balance. And this one you could wiggle around. You could do more of a reach. You could come back. You could do more of a back bend. Look up at the ceiling. Well, this might even feel good to bring your hand behind your head and do a little twist. Oh, so we had our neck workshop on Saturday. I think I've got all, I'm doing an experiment with this when I loaded up 2 to 8 minute videos. Instead of the foam roller workshop, I had like the whole 60-minute in one. I'm going to send that out this week if anybody wants it and it's not on my list. I'm going to send it to all of y'all actually. So you should get it by the end of the week. And you can tell me what you think of my little 2-minute neck snippets. And then switch into your other leg. In front, level hips. Maybe arm up if that feels good. And then you can play with a little more of a side bend or a little more of a back bend. Maybe hand behind your head. Oh yeah, I like this rotation, hand behind the head thing. One more big deep breath. And then come on down. Okay, if you do want to do some kind of a low squat, I've got you the option for it. If you are not low squatting today, here's your super lazy version. If you want to be the laziest, and I mean that in a positive way, you could put your band around your feet and just lay here on your back, and or you could play with bending one knee, straightening that. So that would give you the same idea that we're going for of open sesame through your hips and knees. If this feels like something you want to play with tonight, being in this low squatty position. Yeah. So you could push your hands against your legs. So either of those will give you a nice little open sesame through your hips. You could eventually grab your feet with your hands, theoretically, you know, like a little baby. Put your big toe in your mouth. Oh my gosh, have y'all seen, speaking of babies, have y'all seen the snowboarding dinosaur little girl? The daddy puts a mic on his 4-year-old and takes her on the mountain. Sonia, I gotta send it to you. It is I've watched it like 10 times this weekend. She falls down and she goes, sometimes I fall down and that's okay. I'm like, oh my gosh, if we could have the attitude of this little baby. And then come on down and rest. And so does everybody have one of these stretchy type bands handy? Yeah, because I did want to do some rows, but we're going to do them seated and just real easy, lazy does it. And so you could either sit in a chair if that's more comfortable. I'm going to stay down here on the floor. And We got to do a little bit of strength. Come on, come on. We got to do something. But if you don't want to do this, actually, you can use it just as a mobility exercise with no resistance. If you're doing this way that I'm showing, I'm going to strap my feet, and then I like to just cross my band over once to give me a little X. And then you can always bend your knees if that feels nicer for today, or you could sit on a yoga block, or you could have straight legs. And then I'm pulling back and down, giving a little squeeze of my shoulder blade. So if your knees are bent, your hands might actually slide right down your thighs even. And then when you go forward, you could experiment with this. You could let your shoulders round and sort of tuck your chin, stretch your upper back. And then just give a little squeeze to your shoulder blades, long neck. So we'll go kind of slow and do this like a little gently tightening your upper back muscles, gently stretching and maybe even rounding your upper back. And then give a little squeeze. So I'm feeling my shoulder blades slide. Scoot and show you what my back is doing. Sliding towards each other. We'll squeeze a Rooney. And then I can reach my arms. You might even pull, that feels good to pull apart on the band when I go forward even. And then squeeze shoulder blades together. And then wide apart. Just one of these guys you can squeeze and hold, and then maybe try looking left and looking right with that gentle squeeze of your upper back. Real easy. Looking left and looking right. And then if this feels good to hang out here, let your upper back round. You might even just round forward over your legs if that feels like a good thing. Okay, side leg lift is my one other strength thing, quote unquote, strength thing we're gonna do. And so let's try this version today. You might actually have a weight or something to hang on to. Bend your bottom knee, and if you can get yourself kind of lined up along the edge of the mat. So I want to have my ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle pretty straight along the back edge of the mat. And then I'm going to anchor my hand. I might push my fist into the ground or hang on to my weight or even hold on to my ribs here. And then this top leg can lift, but it's not super high. What I'm trying to do is get a straight knee and parallel leg, which is going to feel like my heel is a little higher. And then if you come down and tap your big toe on the ground, you can lengthen this whole top of your hip. So we'll do real easy does this, not like a big Jane Fonda kick. I'm just gently tightening this hip muscle and then slowly lengthening. Maybe my big toe touches the ground. Maybe I even give a little squeeze of my inner thigh when I come down. So just see what that feels like to go slow. Tiny little leg lift, doesn't have to be super high. Really straight knee. So I feel my top hip muscle contracting and then releasing and contracting. I'm going to do maybe 3 more, nice and slow-mo. Flex your toes back if you can. Lift your heel. Straight knee. Let's do the last one. Now, if this feels good to stay here with your legs stretched out long, you might even stretch your top arm long. You might even let that side lengthen so that the underside of you is shortened. The top waist has lengthened. So I'm in a big side bendy kind of stretchy thing. If that feels good on your shoulder, you can find a good spot for your arm. And then let's do our propeller while we're here. So if you got a bunch of gear in the way, you might move it out the way. And I'm going to go back to both legs stretched long. And then when my leg goes forward, I can stretch my top arm back. So it's kind of like that twist we did earlier, except I've got straight arm and straight leg. Yeah, and then when my leg reaches back behind me, I can reach my arm forward. I got glasses on. If you don't have on glasses, you could roll onto your face and roll onto your chest. So this is a rotation. It's a lot of stuff. I'm stretching my arm and leg. I'm getting a little twist. You might feel this more in your hip or spine, more in your armpit. And you can go fast or slow. Arm forward, leg back. Leg forward, arm back. And again, if one of those spots feels especially good, you might pause for a moment. And then whenever you're ready, come up with a switch and we'll do that, both those things on side number 2. So we got your leg lift and then your propeller. So try to get stretched out nice and long so that I'm not kind of curled in like a little pill bug. And then I can bend my top or my bottom knee, and I can even smash that knee into the ground, and I could hold on with my weight, or I could pat my ribs here. So I'm really organized through my torso. And I'm going to go nice and slow and tense up this hip muscle to lift my top leg and flex my foot and stretch my knee. And then as I lower, I'm thinking stretch this lateral leg, lateral hip. And then lift and push into your heel. And slowly lower. Yep. So I'm gently contracting that hip muscle. And as I come down, I let that muscle lengthen under my brain's control. So we're turning this strength move actually into more of like how we would do like a somatics exercise. Tighten the muscle and then slowly let it release. You might even rest your toe on the ground and really rest for a second. I'm not counting. What are we doing? Maybe 3 more? I don't know. Do it till you don't want to do them anymore, and then do your propeller. I'm going to do 2. Yeah, last one. Actually, we'll do our stretch here. If this feels good to rest your foot, so now my top foot is on the ground, I might stretch my top arm. You might even let that side waist bunch up. So now I've got space under my waist. I'm getting a big old stretch all the way down my side. And then let's do our propeller. If this feels comfortable to rest your head on your arm, and you can do top leg forward, and you might even straighten your legs out long, and then top arm back. So I'm kind of making like a long twisty X, if that makes sense. And then my leg goes back and my arm can reach forward, maybe even rolling onto your face. And then I go this way, I feel a big stretch here in the front of my belly and hip. And then I can go arm back, leg forward. Maybe rolling onto the back of your head. Arm forward, leg back. And if one of those spots feels like a good hangout, you could stop and hang out for a breath or two. Or if it feels good to go a little faster, you could boogie right along. You could do front and back and front and back. Okay, let's see what else is on my list. Oh yeah, hammy stretch and hip stretch and our cactus. Oh yeah, we got time for all of these. So your hammy stretch, you could use your towel or your band or whatever you got handy. Now I am going to give us a good amount of time. Let's see, I'm going to give us 2 minutes per leg for each of our hammy and hip stretches. What a luxurious amount of time that is. So here's one thing you could do during that 2 minutes. You could bend your knee and let your hip just release and let your knee come towards your shoulder. And then you could push your foot into the band like you're pushing it to where the wall and ceiling meet. Yeah. So that might be a nice little variation. Bend and straighten, kind of like that leg press machine at the gym where you're pushing the sled. Yeah. Oh, I got to get my timer going. I said 2 minutes and then I'm over here lollygagging. And then the other version could be your lower and lift version, which looks like so. You could push your leg into the ground, push your foot, tense up the back of your leg. And then when you exhale, release, just let your leg float up to some degree. If you can keep your pelvis heavy, you'll be specifically stretching your hamstring. Once your pelvis rolls back, then you're stretching more of your low back. So I'm going to keep my pelvis right where it is. Slowly float my leg down and up. And you might play with this little foot situation, flexy and pointy your toes. You can do circles. This feels good to bring your leg slightly across your body. And if you've got a straight knee, that will stretch that bottom part of your hamstring that attaches on the south side of your knee. And then you can bring your leg across a little bit or out to the side. Yeah, whatever feels good. Cross. Maybe it just feels good to hold this position. Oh, those are 2 minutes. Come on down and rest. All right, let's do leg number 2. And if you don't want to hold this long or you just get bored, you want to do something else, you can. There is something to be said for, I got our timer going, for holding a stretch for the length of time or giving time for that tissue to soften. And I do like to do both kinds. I like to do the kind where you come in and out of your stretch, maybe lower and lift, and just check out, what is this range of motion like on this leg and hip? Is it any different? And leg number 1, does it feel tighter or looser? You could bring your leg across to the side. You do your pointy and a flexy of your foot. And then we got about a minute left. See if you can, if you're comfortable holding that static held stretch for this amount of time. And I'm not trying to get to my maximum effort. I might even lower my leg lower down than what I think my max height would be. See if you can just settle in here, breathe. Relax your back, relax your leg. Home stretch, couple more big deep breaths. Okay, then let's do our hip stretch. If you're not a fan of this 90-90, you could for sure do pigeon, or you could do the one where you lay on your back. I'm gonna do this one. And what I'm doing is I've scooted myself all the way to the side of my mat so that my thigh is parallel. This is what I mean by 90-90. And then this shin is parallel to the edge of the mat. See that? And then I'm trying to face my whole torso towards the mat. And then I might even be able to lean over. If you like the lazy on your back version, you can cross your ankle over. That's a nice one. Yeah. Whatever hip stretch feels good. And none of this should hurt your knee. If it hurts your knee, unmute yourself and ask me for help. You can do pigeon. Pigeon's a good one too. I like this one a little better because I sometimes will feel this stretch in my inner thigh as well as my front butt. And then you could start to play with either gently pushing your knee away from you and towards you. So even if you're on your back, that would be the same thing, the knee that's crossed over. Just real gently, easy does it. Can you get a little movement in that hip joint by using those hip muscles to manipulate that hip? And then you could play with this back leg if you're like I am. You could lift your foot, you could lift your knee. You might be able to lift your whole leg off the ground. Ooh. You could lean forward and come back upright. I'll take a couple more big deep breaths. Of course, if any of this hurts your knees or hurts your back, come out, ask me for help. If you can hang here for this whole 2 minutes, do so. Okay, there's your 2 minute. We'll go to the other side. So I'm just going to roll myself over. If you're on your back, you could cross your other leg over the top. And if you're ever like, what is she talking about? Just unmute yourself and say, what are you talking about? I tried to get my colorful mat back out because I had dark pants on tonight. Sometimes I'm camouflaged on a dark mat. Okay, I got our 2 minutes timer going. 90-90 or whatever hip stretch you're doing tonight. Breathe. Try to send your breath all the way down to that hip. And then notice, what can you relax in this position? Can you relax your neck and shoulders? Can you relax your back? Can you relax your face? Maybe yawn. Relax your eyeballs. And then if you want to start playing with this movement of gently pushing your knee away from you, and by pushing, I mean using my hip muscle and then gently pulling your knee towards you. It's a pretty tiny little move. It's not a real big move. Or if you're like I am, you could lift your back foot, lift your front knee, maybe lift your whole leg. So this one, I think, especially good to hang out for this whole 2 minutes. What I'm trying to get is deep into that hip joint and give it enough time to let it know it can really totally relax. I'm not trying to force this stretch. I'm just hanging out, breathing. All right, there's your 1 minute. Come on out of there. What do we got now? Desert cactus you could do on the roller too. You could do this on the wall, this position, right, with your arms in that stick 'em up cactus. You could do flat on the floor. The nice thing about the roller is you get a little more range of motion. So if this feels doable for tonight, to sit on the end and roll. Oh yeah, now if you are on the roller or even just flat on your back, just take a second here and notice. Does anything feel different now than when we did this a few minutes ago? Notice your shoulders and head and back and hips and arms and legs. Notice your face and jaw. And then you could do an active version of this cactus where you bring your elbows and either palms or pinky fingers together, push your forearms away, and then stretch your arms out to the side. So this could be an active stretch where you're almost like thinking of winging your shoulder blades out to the side or rounding your upper back. You can go squeeze your elbows together and then press them apart. And then if you didn't want to do this active version, if even this is too much, you could just rest your arms out to the side. So that could feel nice too. You might be able to get fingernails and elbows on the ground. And then you could play with this one. You could slide up and down. You could do internal rotation, external rotation. Yeah, so Gary's on the wall. You could do arms, elbows against the wall, fingernails against the wall. That's a nice version. Slidey up, slidey down, whatever feels good for tonight. And then Gary, you could also do that doorway one. Remember that where you put your palms in the doorway, whichever one feels better. Yeah, you got to go stand in the hall for that one. Go to the back, go stand in the bathroom. You can do one arm at a time. Yeah, that's it. And then you could even twist open if you're standing doing this one. And breathe. And then if this feels good, to stretch your arms out long, letter T. And this one too, you could play with swooping them in and swooping them out, or just holding that arms out position. And then I don't remember if we did this one on Saturday or not. Have we done 80s dance move in a while? This one's like, I'm going to sit up to show you, but you could do this seated or laying down or standing. It's like if you held doorknobs in your hands and you were rotating one doorknob one way and the other one the other way. Is that a good explanation? Yeah, one arm up, one arm down. And then you could even, here's why I call it 80s dance move, because then you could even like let your shoulder blades move. Isn't this something the Bangles did in one of their music videos? I don't know. Yep. So you're basically twisting and rotating your arms and rolling that shoulder all around. Yep. You could do flexed palms, or you could like literally like think of gripping a dial or gripping a what you call it, doorknob. Yeah, see how much movement you can get in your shoulders and upper back. And then if you want to do one last baby bear, let's see, either baby bear, or if you like that rolling on your belly thing, this is a kind of new one I've been adding in, where your legs are in the air and you just floppy. And just see if we do one more round of either on your belly, floppy, or your baby bear, floppy. And just notice, does anything feel floppier now? Hopefully things don't feel tighter now. It's a lot of stretching we did. Hopefully things feel looser. And if you feel like there's other things, what do we know? Oh, we didn't do quad stretch. If this one doesn't hurt your knee, we got time for one more stretch. You could do reach back here and grab a hold of your foot. Yeah, if that does hurt your knee, you could do your foot stretch too. That we haven't done that one since last month. You kind of like step on your toes. Well, we just made regular chili, Bridget. We didn't do the Cincinnati cream cheesy dip thing. I found the recipe for, but we did have regular chili, Eric cooked chili and chips and dip. We had all the football foods.
Yeah, Tim made Cincinnati chili. We had chili dogs.
Chili dogs, yum.
I didn't have the dog. I just had the chili cheese sandwich, but
And
the delicious.
Cincinnati chili is no beans. Is that what makes it Cincinnati chili?
It's no beans. It's really thin, and it's got cinnamon and chocolate in it.
Ooh, that does sound good. Okay, I switched sides. Did I say that out loud? That you can switch sides. Does it taste sweet or just taste like a little spicy?
No, it's not sweet because the chocolate's not, it's not like Hershey's chocolate. It's like bitter chocolate. It's spicy. Yeah, it's got a spice to it for sure. It smells delicious. I mean, it's total crap if you get it in Cincinnati, but
But the one y'all made.
yeah, it called for 2 pounds of beef, and he put in a pound of turkey, and that made it not so fatty.
Mm-hmm. We had beef and bison in the freezer from our Costco run. So that's what he did, was half beef and half bison. I'm not sure if that's any leaner.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now you can find your comfortable rest position, whatever that may be. That could be laying on the ground. It could be seated. Focus on our breath. Okay, so we've been doing this love theme all month. It's Valentine's Day. I forgot to say Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Silly holiday.
My kids are obnoxious. I'm like,
Did they all get Valentine's?
oh yeah, I spent all day doing it. It was a clusterfuck.
Okay, take a big deep breath. Big exhale. Let's do our progressive relaxation. We haven't done that in a while. So you could start with your fists and your arms. Tighten up your arms, fists. Shrug your shoulders. Squeeze your biceps. Squeeze your triceps. Squeeze your forearms. Take another sip of air. On your next exhale, let your arms and hands just flop and relax. And then scrunch up your feet, your ankles, your lower legs, your quads, your hamstrings, your knees, your butt. Inhale, tense your feet, tense your legs. Exhale, slowly relax your legs, your butt, your feet, your ankles, your knees. Let them just flop open. And then scrunch up your torso, your belly, your shoulders, your chest, your back. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your neck. Inhale. Exhale, relax your torso, your chest, your back. Really let your belly be soft and squishy. And can you tense up everything? Arms and legs, face, shoulders, feet, hands. Squeeze your butt. Maybe tighten your jaw. Squeeze your eyes shut. One more sip of air. As you exhale, relax and let everything soften. And then you can picture this glowing ember right in the middle of your chest. And with each inhale and exhale, your ember gets a little bit brighter, a little bit warmer. And this is your love light, and you have an infinite supply. And this next 2 breaths, can you picture your light glowing from your chest all the way down into your torso, your belly, your hips, all the way down into your legs and feet. And then with this next breath, picture this glowing ember, even brighter, glowing all the way down into your arms and hands, all the way out your fingertips. And then picture it glowing all the way up your neck, covering your scalp, your face. So your entire body is glowing with this love light. And then with this next breath, picture it getting so bright that it's starting to shine out into your room, out into your house, out into your neighborhood, and it's reaching all of your people, your loved ones, your friends and family and neighbors, your pets. You're sharing your love light with all of your people, near and far. You can reach all the way across the country. And then picture your special people not only receiving your love message, but then turning around and sending it back to you. And feel that for a second. Feel what that feels like to receive love back from your special people, your pets. That's real easy to think about your pets giving you love. And then if you were to be really sweet and loving to yourself this week, what would that mean? Think about all the interactions with people that you're going to have this week. Think about what's on your to-do list. And could all of these interactions and things that you do be infused with this love light? How could that change how you are in the world? I have unlimited potential. In the infinity of life, where we are all perfect, whole, and complete, We rejoice in knowing we are one with the power that created us. Our minds are always connected to the one infinite mind. So all knowledge and wisdom is available to us. We trust ourselves to create only that which is for our highest good, greatest joy, and perfect for our spiritual growth and evolution. We rejoice in our unlimitedness, and all is well in our world. And you are welcome to continue resting here as long as you like. If you're ready to wiggle, you might yawn or stretch. Okay, how did you feel about my super lazy, stretchy version? We didn't do a single squat. Well, we kind of did a squat. We didn't do a deadlift. We didn't do no bicep curls. What do you think? We could do some more exertive stuff next week if you want.
Thanks, Ann.
Thanks, Gary.
Bridget, on your recommendation, I watched the skeleton at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking nuts. They're going
know.
70 miles an hour and their face is 6 inches off the
I
ground.
know, it's insane.
Oh, it was really something else.
You gotta have balls of steel, Gary, for that one.
Yep.
We watched the Unibob. These chicks run as hard as they can and then jump in and then have to steer the sled. And this one girl, her legs Eric's like, her legs are thicker than mine. She was just like,
I know you gotta be serious. You gotta be serious.
Yeah, it's all about the heart. We'll see you next week. Thank you
All right,
all.
take care, everybody.